Aries gang, welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. My name is Annie. We're going to read your tarot cards here today. This will be geared more towards Aries rising, but of course Aries sun, moon, and Venus signs are welcome to join. Anyone is welcome in this reading. I just ask you come with an open heart, an open mind, and a desire to better yourself. Only take away messages that motivate, empower, inspire you, get you to see something from a different perspective. That's what we're aiming to do here in tarot. If you're not liking what you're hearing or you just don't resonate with it, feel free to check back at another date. Maybe it'll make sense in time, or maybe it's just not your reading this time around. That's my spiel. Remember to like the video, subscribe guys, and if you want to book a personal, just shoot me an email and we'll get you squared away for that. Let's do your tarot reading now. Enough chitta-chatta. I hope you guys are doing good. Oop, 2 out. What are you hiding? Do you have a secret? Travel would be very good for you right now. It would be good to reset your energy for one thing. Or I will say if it's not physical travel, the idea of exploring your higher mind, spending more time connecting to spirituality, whatever you believe in terms of like a higher power. Yeah, immersing yourself in some sort of study or education that would be good for your, yes, physical wellness, sure, but also like your spiritual wellness. That's the first thing that came through. You may be connecting with like a guru of some kind or a spiritual mentor or someone who can kind of guide you. Almost you're like this, I'm hearing the word pilgrimage. I don't know how to put that in there, but I heard it. I don't know. Something to guide you through like a spiritual journey. What do you call that? Like, yeah, I'm not really able to come up with the words, but almost the idea of going to like your native land where your ancestors came from, or something to do with your roots in spirituality. I know this is a little bit clunky, so I hope some of you are understanding what I mean, but anyway, I don't think that's the theme of this reading per se, but we'll hop in and kind of see. So let me just take a look at this. Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, so maybe that came out of my mouth for a reason. I do sense that this is either you or someone in your life is hitting the books. They're going very deep into study. They're immersing themselves into something so that they can, at minimum, just gain wisdom, knowledge, education on something. It may be formal education, it may be going back to school, like higher education, or it might just be a passion that they're pursuing, but they're throwing themselves into it. And because of that, again, I'm not sure who's who, someone feels a little bit neglected or slighted. And I'm not sure it's totally warranted, or what is the word, founded? Like, this person seems kind of giving you a little bit of sass, but I think it may actually be triggering their own insecurities that it's almost like you've found your calling or you're pursuing something and someone is jealous, but it's not manifesting in obviously a healthy way, right? Where it feels like Mean Girls. Like, they comment on something like, oh, I love your sweater, but they're like, oh, that's the ugliest effing thing. Like, that's almost the vibe I get, like, oh, that's so nice. I don't know, like fake friends a little bit. I hate to say it, that sounds so negative, and I'm not saying this is going to be like a constant battle or struggle for you, but yeah, this, in the coming weeks, there may be an opposition to something that you're very excited to pursue. And I mean, I'll be honest, your vibe about it seems very healthy. So like anything, balance. If you truly value certain friendships or people in your life, make sure you give them a little bit of your time if and where you can. Certainly you don't owe them that. But again, if you generally respect these people, you'll want to let them know that you do value them and that they are important, even if that's just, whatever, sending a text. I never advocate the fact that you are responsible for making other people feel okay about your life decisions. It's not about that. And for others, if you losing this person or this group of people in your life, it's not going to mean much, because it's almost like they're showing their true colors, that they only support you when you're at the same, intellectual level as them. And so when you start to, raise the bar or dig deeper, go higher, whatever this is, ascend in your spiritual journey, they feel kind of like, they feel like abandoned, but really it's pointing out their own insecurities. So I would say, don't let it trigger you, don't let it anger you or impact you in that way. However, if this is something that you see wanting to salvage, then again, you are the deciding factor if you're going to do that. So what's interesting is I do see, especially in terms of like a long-term partnership, 7th house stuff. So it could be your marriage partner, it could be a business partner, it could It could be a best friend. I don't totally associate that with seventh house. Seventh house is more like one-to-one interactions. But anyway, sort of opposing, this is what I'm seeing here, so you can kind of get the gist of where I'm coming up with these crazy tarot messages, right? I think this is you. Again, the page is like a student or the intern, right? Becoming immersed in something greater for wisdom and knowledge and growth. Someone feels slighted about that. And maybe it's you, possible. Maybe your partner is doing that to you and you're like, what about me? So in conversation with that energy, we do have someone, the other, so I don't necessarily think this is you, needing to walk away from something that at one point provided them emotional stability. Here's what I instantly love about this message. You're taking a step forward to invest more energy in yourself and growth and development as a spiritual human being, and that is exactly what you're meant to do in this lifetime. I get a very strong feeling that whoever you're dealing with, and I say this with love and the most gentle way I can, this person may have been slightly codependent on you to provide them emotional security. They feel better when you're with them. They feel better when you're supporting them and complimenting them and believing in them, right? And it's not to say you don't anymore, but you're not able to fill that role for them anymore and they feel some type of way about it. Again, what's glorious about this message is that congratulations, you've just graduated from being that person in their life and now they have to either find it in someone else, which they will probably do, but that would be the mistake. The mistake in that plan is that they need to find that in themselves, right? So you walking away, I don't think you, and whatever walking away means, again, that doesn't mean indefinitely per se. It might for some of you. You walking away is granting the person this gift that has been dormant, granting them a gift of seeing something that has been dormant inside them that is not necessarily a healthy manifestation of energy. If I have so much love to give, but I don't feel as if I offer value to relationships unless someone else is receiving that love from me. I don't think this person has bad intentions per se. It's like this person really needs to learn to love themselves. And if it's not that, I know that whole phrase has sort of like a cheese ball thing when we hear it. But ultimately, does this person value being alone? Do they feel that just on their own, without anyone at their side, that they're good enough to exist in the world? That is like a primary thing that we all need to immerse ourselves in and be confident with, and yet it's something that we're never taught. That's not something taught in the school system. How do we understand that we're good on our own? Well, you learn that through having parents that encourage you to do this or that, or practice healthy boundaries with you, and allow you to explore your individuality and yourself and don't suffocate you. Or the opposite, parents who don't necessarily abandon you at birth and make you feel like this fear of abandonment, right? So this person may not have had that foundation that maybe you had or whoever had growing up. And so it's like an unflexed muscle. It's something that they're going to have to develop on their own. And I don't mean to totally make this about the other person, but it seems to be like a very strong message here. So all that coming to say, you seem like you're vibing fairly high. However, if this is a dating partner, if all this stuff about your partner feeling slighted or neglected or resented, I think that could potentially wear on you in time. So because Five of Cups is coming up in that kind of house of dating, I just want to underscore the fact that you're not responsible to heal this person's childhood wounds or trauma. And again, that in itself, without any context, can sound kind of harsh, but it's absolutely true. You're responsible to do your healing. I'm responsible to heal my stuff, and this person's responsible for healing those. And I think there has been a comfortability, Aries, in you stepping into sort of, very Aries-like, metaphors. Be the warrior, the survivor, save the day, be the superhero, the action star, right? To come to this person's rescue. And I think developing this distance or this individuality is actually incredibly healthy for this relationship. But when you, Aries, cardinal sign, initiate sort of that action in a different direction, it blindsides your person, or they simply choose to not accept the fact that it's happening. And so there is a little bit of a clingy factor to this. Again, bringing it back to you. Sorry, I don't mean to keep going off this other person, but I think over time this person may, and I'm trying to be gentle, I don't want to insult you or your person, this person may develop a little bit of a manipulative, how could you do this to me? My father abandoned me. And, they may resort to some, I'll say a little bit shady, immature tactics to try and keep you because they love you so dearly, but that in itself is not a healthy expression of their love towards you. I'll be honest, it is more selfish. It's, I need you and how could you do this to me? Well, what about what you need? you clearly are on the path to discovery of something big and great. And again, if your person isn't understanding, then that highlights areas where they need to be a little bit more courageous, bold, responsible, accountable. And you may feel, I'm hearing the word pulled. What is that expression? Between a rock and a hard place. Pulled in two different directions, bittersweet. You understand the duality of, I do like this person, and it's not that I'm wanting to reject them, it's that I have things to pursue, right? And whatever this is, it doesn't have to be a spiritual path. For some of you, it absolutely is, and I mean, I would argue probably underlying is for all of you. You feel a calling or whatever to go and pursue something else. But if this person doesn't support you, I guess I would say don't let that talk you out of it. Don't let that add stress and anxiety to this new pursuit. Because whatever this is actually seems like it could be really powerful and really beautiful, really enlightening for you, but you seem very like, oh, but what do I do? And I mean, let's like zoom out. Whatever relationship this is, are you favoring more, you know, how will this affect my kids? How will this affect my husband? How will this affect my brother? Which, that you are a decent human being. The fact that you're even filtering it through that lens, but I do think that this is a time where, in a healthy, gentle way, it's okay to let people fend for themselves a little bit, because otherwise they're constantly going to be looking to you for signals of permission, and that's not a good way to live their life. And feel free to reverse the roles too. This may be talking about something you need to hear, even though maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe that's why this is so focused on the other, because maybe in this reading the roles are reversed and maybe you're this person, you know, and just throwing it out there. And then again, there's no judgment or criticism here, there's just, you know, unbiased stranger remarking on sort of the energies I see here. What else can I tell you about this? Your house of dating, this may be a similar storyline or completely different. Five of Cups is crying over spilt milk. It's a little bit woe is me. And I say that, again, with love and compassion to get you to understand, yeah, something has been spilled here, something has been lost. You probably won't get it back, at least in its original form, its original condition, the honeymoon phase, if you will, of how good it used to be. But with that, the fact that you're thinking, oh, I'll never get back to, you know, how good it used to be, you're really missing out on this opportunity, which is the Two of Cups, which is, you know, a pairing of two cups. So a relationship, a partnership, something of the sort. It might not be with the same person. It might be, if you can get over, you know, the tears or the anger or the egos to revive this into, again, a healthy place. I love how it's like displayed up high. Like, can we ascend in terms of what the amount of love and energy we're willing to give this commitment? But again, in a healthy way where it doesn't come from a place of lack or fear. That's a big one in tarot. You don't want to be acting out of a place of fear. And so I will throw the cheesy thing at you. Maybe absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe time away makes one or both of you recognize just how significant this relationship is or was in your life. And allows you some breathing and or time space to decide, is it worth saving? Do I actually miss this person enough and see enough potential in its growth into the future to revisit it in a healthier way or with a different perspective or with more emotional intelligence? And I say that definitely more on the side of this person, whoever that is. They might just not have that same independence streak that you have, or again, vice versa. Yeah, the sun is sitting in your fifth house of dating. Again, for my Aries rising, that means the sun in Leo fills your fifth house in whole sign astrology only. There's many different forms of astrology. It will be headed into Virgo in the coming week or so. And there's a lot of emphasis right there in your birth chart right now. So we are going to talk about that. I do think that, again, that kind of bittersweet feeling, or feeling pulled in two different directions, more or less, I think a lot of you are heading into a chapter, a period, and no matter how short or long that is, where you're going to be focused more on your daily hustle to get ahead in your career or whatever this passion project is. I see you making significant strides and movement to doing that, but the mere fact that it's happening in an earth sign means it's going to be a slow process, but it's essential that you build that foundation with stability, with strength, with care, with precision, with detail, with attention, right? You know, very Virgo-esque type things. You have Mercury, Mars, and Venus sitting in that area. So in short, I guess, you know, if you're not super into astrology, I would just say the fact that planets are sitting there means that it's highly significant for you right now. So sixth house being, again, your daily routine, your work habits. It's sort of like your house of service you provide to an employee. It also has to do with your health too. So your health may be much more of a focus right now, and your health in terms of what that looks like when you are in or out of a romantic partnership. And then to underscore all of that, you also have a very important tarot card sitting in that house, which I know is why you're here. The King of Wands, king of creativity, king of, you could say, career, passion, enthusiasm, excitement, travel, curiosity. It's very fire signs, right? So action oriented. There's a need to go out and do it, to go out and build it, to experience it, right? And I do get the idea that something or someone in your life has sort of kept you from experiencing something that more or less it's like you're destined to experience it. This may even have to do with a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, on either end, either removing yourself from one who you felt like you were in contract with and maybe that contract is ending, or the opposite, you may be joining forces with someone, even if it's just more of like a mentor type person, to gain wisdom. And there is such like a spiritual connection to this, whether you realize it or not. And so Venus is going to be entering your 7th house. So Venus has a lot to do with, yes, romantic connections, partnership, but establishing harmony and balance in relationships, as well as possible financial deals too. So something about that may resonate with those of you who have a long-term spouse already. The thing is, the message still remains, though, even with Venus sitting in that house, there's still a need to like emotionally distance yourself from something that maybe there was an assumption of what was going to be there. Again, you can always return to it in time, but right now, essentially, this is a really awesome card, but it does promote bravery. You need to walk away from what is familiar or what has always been comforting to you simply because you've outgrown it. It's not to say it's bad, but we reach a point where it becomes stagnant. It's still water, right? Sitting in those cups. What you're headed towards, or whoever this is, and I would argue it's probably both of you. Everybody you encounter in your life is really just a mirror for things going on inside you. What you're headed towards is the 9 of Cups, which is about wish fulfillment. We love the 9 of Cups. I mean, I personally love the 8 of Cups too, but I think one of the silver linings to the, oh, I have to leave something behind. What we don't always see in the 8 of Cups is, but I can't see what I'm headed towards, but essentially, you know, via the tarot cards, it's something pretty good. It's something I definitely don't want to miss out on. Am I brave enough to have faith, to have courage to leave behind what I've always known? The status quo, the familiarity. And again, I would argue, does Venus, the planet Venus sitting next to this tarot card, does it indicate you need to explore new partnerships that might be healthier or better for where you are at currently in your life? Or does it indicate something with a financial deal or a money deal? You know, throwing it out there. Yeah, pursuit of knowledge, pursuit of education, pursuit of wisdom, training, studying, classes, courses. Yeah, Mercury in Virgo definitely highlights the intellect and the mind. I would say too, for some of you, it feels like you've been trying to explore avenues of money or income solely on your own or in a more individualized way. What I see happening here, almost in terms of like advice or guidance, if we want to look at it like that, is that we've sort of reached the point where we're just thinking about it and contemplating it and sort of going into hermit mode to reflect and, you know, gain wisdom and insight. I think you've done that, and you will continue to do that, but you're not going to gain much more in terms of revelations or light bulb moments, insights, until you take action towards, again, building that or creating it or experiencing it. That's very big with the King of Wands. And then again, from that, these cards are all sort of having a positive connection with each other. From that, you become the King of Swords, the king of intellect, of mind, of intelligence, of thoughts, ideas, you know, writing, technology, scripts, anything that has to do with like the writing, critical mind, analysis sort of parts of you. And not only that, you have Pluto sitting in this house, so there's power there. I would even say there is untapped power. Where Pluto exists, and for you guys, again, it's sort of that 10th house where this guy is showing up, there is a volcano of unerupted power, but it's like sitting waiting and it's dormant, and something will eventually activate it. And these cards, I hope this is making sense, it's a little bit conceptual, are going to help you activate that sort of power of Pluto that's sitting in your 10th house of career and public image and recognition and reputation. These cards are essentially helping you get there. But I often think 10th house has to do with like our future and what's to come. So rather than doing it alone or sitting there contemplating it and think about it, I think this card is saying, well, you got to go out and experience a part of it, maybe at minimum just to know if it's actually what you want, or to immerse yourself in it. So again, understanding, getting a better idea of how it works and why it works and who can help you and what do you bring to the table. Like maybe it's learning from what's already out there, but also understanding what type of skills you're still going to need in order to succeed as best you can in this career field. And again, education keeps coming up a lot. Training programs, however you want to view that. There may be something quite unexpected. An unexpected money opportunity. The thing is, I don't think this would happen immediately for multiple reasons, because we're dealing with Pluto and Uranus, however you want to say it. Unexpected power, and that's a very brief kind of synopsis. But and then you have a lot of planets sitting in again your 6th house. So when those planets are interacting, because they're all in Earth signs, there's a positive connection. There's something kind of symbiotic. They work well together. But whenever Uranus is involved, it says it may come unexpectedly. So with this whole thing about, I don't know if it's leaving the partner or distancing the partner or kind of, what catty, mean girl energy, friends groups, whatever, there may be something that comes about unexpectedly that actually puts you in this position of do I or don't I? So if you don't know what that is yet, it might make sense later on, even in the next year or so, but I think it's preparing you for something much bigger. And I mean, the King of Swords is wearing the crown here. Like that looks pretty damn powerful to me. Do you have the bravery? Do you have the courage to go after it? And that's sort of what's delaying you achieving this. And again, this could be years from now, right? It's your tarot reading, so interpret it as you will. But if he's sort of king of the castle, right? What's getting in the way of you either going after this or being able to envision it, seeing it, deeming yourself worthy of accomplishing this or going after it? It's this. Where are you too comfortable? What are you not leaving behind? Even though it might not be emotionally nourishing to you anymore, it's familiar. And leaving behind what is familiar can be tremendously hard. But in a higher vibration of those who, again, have strong Aries in their chart, you are meant to initiate action as the cardinal fire sign. And maybe you have in the past, maybe that's what's hindering this, is if you've felt you were too impulsive to go after an opportunity in the past, maybe you look at it as, oh, well, I got burned, so now I have to be more, careful or cautious in how I choose to do things. And do you understand, you maybe have like trepidations about the timeline and questioning your intuition of what time is right, and welcome to being human, right? Make those decisions in a clear frame of mind. So at minimum, it might be saying, make that decision that is solely for yourself in an environment where you're not needing to cater to everyone around you. And I would say this to any sign too, make sure that you're not projecting past disappointments onto the future, because then you're already stopping yourself short. You're already cutting yourself off, before you move. You may get an opportunity to travel. I know this sounds a little bit odd, but for some of you it won't. I'm almost getting the idea of like a spiritual getaway, or spending time in like a foreign land, or joining like some sort of meditation group where, again, it might be mental travel if it's not physical travel, but it has a very you may be building a career that is very spiritually based, or something very Piscean by nature. So something that ironically promotes escapism, like the metaphysical, spiritual, yogi, travel, but even like escaping through arts and painting and poems and something very, it's hard to pin it down. You can't exactly tie it down because it's not necessarily earth-based. Anyway, an opportunity may arise unexpectedly, and you may really be struggling with how you share this news with your person or someone who is very significant to you. The thing is, I actually see your family really supporting you in this endeavor. So I'm not sure if that's your belief about it, but you have a lot of structure and support coming from kind of fourth house activity right now. It's more of a marriage partner or a business partner who is a little bit, again, not necessarily operating from the highest vibe. If this person truly loves you and supports you, they're going to let you pursue what it is you need to pursue in this life to feel fulfilled. And they won't take it personally. They won't feel slighted that you are putting your dreams or prioritizing your dreams. Let's say it that way. And who's to say you can't do both, right? Life doesn't work as this or that. Sometimes it's a messy combination of both. And there's just an adjustment period of, oh, okay, well, it used to be this way. Well, now it's this way. And it doesn't mean it can't work. But again, that bravery of willing to explore the unknown and not have all the answers, and trial and error. Try some things out. See what happens. You hold the world in your hand. And it almost seems like a really great, that volcano metaphor. It's like you're holding back the lava and like it's going to come out. And it's not going to be bad. Like this is not something to fear, but I feel like that's what you're telling yourself, or that's what someone else might be telling you. Someone in your family, brother, sister, mother, father, I do sense it's a parental figure, if that makes sense to any of you. And it doesn't have to be both, but one especially is absolutely supporting this, especially the idea of travel. Part of this may include traveling to see a parent, or I'm almost getting the idea of a story where you may have had a mother or a father who did international travel when they were young, and it was a very lovely experience, and you may actually in a really beautiful symbolic way almost be sort of repeating a step of their journey, and I don't even think it's conscious. It's just like the stars aligned where you end up visiting the same city your mother, whatever, so a trip your mother took in college or something like that. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. Anyway. Yeah, you might just be dealing with a partner right now who's very inflexible, but it does stem from their own insecurities. And so I wouldn't begrudge them or hold that against them. I wouldn't hold them hostage for feeling the way they feel, but I also wouldn't hold yourself hostage and feeling like you need to make it okay for them. Again, these are learning experiences for everyone involved, including you. Yeah. What's being highlighted here, though, it was always meant to. You didn't do anything wrong, and that's sort of the major thing I want to express to you is making sure that you're not holding on to guilt for things that you don't need to feel guilty of. Free yourself from them, Because multiple things could happen. Again, the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder, or also realizing that out of this relationship, I feel so much better, but I was in it for so long, I didn't even realize how much better it could get. Be open to that possibility. And I'm not necessarily saying in marriage, in anything. It could be friendship, right? This doesn't look like a healthy friendship to me. I'm just putting it out there. But it is coming up in your first house, so I almost want to pose the question, do you have a long-standing friendship in your life where it's been there so long you almost forgot the reason why? Because I feel like in a higher perspective, some of you, certainly not all of you, are going to realize, gosh, this person who I was best friends with in kindergarten, we're really different people now. Yeah, I would imagine you are. And it's good to check in with yourself and make sure that the friends and company you keep are really your soul tribe. Because especially if it's friends, it is more or less chosen. Family, not so much, right? But if you're choosing this person and it's constantly bombarding you with negativity and weight and just feeling, ugh, I think you need to question, is this person in your life for a greater reason? And is it just the catalyst to get you to see something about yourself where maybe you need to establish better boundaries for yourself, or cater less, I just keep getting this, cater less to what other people need. Anyway. Your most adventurous friend, follow their footsteps, at least in the coming weeks. You may end up going hiking with a friend and have a really revelatory, that's not a word, but you know what I mean. Some sort of revelation about something that you've been grappling with internally. So, and that's what this could be too. This could be internal struggle of, again, the idea of you, the one, being pulled in two different directions. Again, maybe trying to satisfy too many people, or just feeling really lost of, I want this, but I also want this, and how do I choose? Again, there is no right or wrong answer. Can you do both? Can you merge them? Is it stressing you out to do both, and are you being asked to release one? Take a little bit off your plate. Something about going hiking or being elevated, I don't know, whatever, fresh air, going to your lake house, a mountain cabin, whatever this is. There's something about being out of that environment where you're feeling very stifled, getting into fresh air, getting into nature, taking a hike, a walk, hanging out with your best friend in that type of environment, or a friend, an ally, whatever. There's some sort of, I do want to say like epiphany, a realization of the adventure that awaits you, and I think you start to diminish all the ideas of why you were holding yourself back, or you start to release the idea of why you can't or why you shouldn't. You open yourself up to new possibilities. Really strong Sagittarius energy there. So again, if you know a Sagittarius, if your best friend is a Sag, and again, you like them and respect them, and they seem like a solid voice of reason and wisdom, I would hang out with that person because it seems like they have a very beautiful perspective and outlook on life. They may invite you to join them on some sort of retreat or getaway that you may initially be like, yeah, right, I'd never do that, but someday you are going to go and it's going to be life-changing. That is cool. That is really cool. Yeah. You do have Saturn sitting in your house of friendship, so again, that's not a prison sentence by any means. It's just simply the way Saturn works is it forces you to step up and take on responsibility and accountability where maybe it was lacking in the past. So there's a responsibility, again, to analyze your friendships and ask yourself, do they contribute positively to my life? And vice versa. Am I being a good friend to other people around me? It's both. It's not one or the other. It's both. So if you are struggling with friendships right now, okay, then the universe is working. Do you understand what I mean? It's not a bad thing. It's just highlighting an area you might be struggling with. Not only that, we also have a full moon happening in Aquarius. Is that right? Hold on. Yeah, I guess that is right. Okay. We have a full moon happening in Aquarius, which is in that house of friendships. And this is the second one we've had in Aquarius in the last month or so. So again, with any full moon, it brings completions and culminations. So there might be something very significant happening in your friendship groups, especially with a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And you have Jupiter there too, so like triple down on all my Sagittarian references. I don't know why that's coming up, but it really is. And again, it's neither good or bad. It's completely individual to you and your story here. But you may reach not an antithesis, is that the right word? A culmination of something happening in your friendship group or your social groups, your clubs and activity, your place within a group of larger people. Yeah, anyway. It can even be your online presence. I'm not even sure how that would resonate, but you'll know if that's your message. The last thing I want to touch on is this. I'm just trying to get the storyline for it. I feel like you are about to be thrusted into a really exciting and fun chapter for your career, but it's dormant right now, and it's asking you to take action. Or there's big things that are going to happen in your career as well as your spiritual identity. I know that's kind of a woo term, but you stepping into yourself and stepping into your power, it's like hidden away in your 12th house, so there may be sort of some psychological work you're doing currently, just in terms of understanding who I am and who I was and who I want to become. It seems like there is absolutely like a rebirthing of yourself into the world, and with that, it makes sense that you're assessing who's around you and who you're choosing to be with. Is there something that you're hiding from your sibling, or something your sibling is hiding from you? I don't know what this means. I'm hearing like stolen education. Were you influenced to study something in like a higher ed that you felt like you were forced into, and now I don't know what this is, you guys. I don't know what this is. You're always a student of life, I'm sort of being told to say. So I don't know if this makes sense to anyone, but whatever. You graduated with the degree, you're not using it, and you feel like shit about it. Okay, that's not your story anymore. You can choose to make that a thing by holding on to that baggage and resentment or grief or guilt, whatever. Or you can be like, you know what? I did that, and, whatever. You win some, you lose some. it sets you up to realize now that, hey, I actually want to study this and I still have the opportunity to. You can go back to school at any age or whatever this is, change careers at any age. Something that happened in like your early childhood education is holding you back. Again, that's a little bit heady for me. I can only relay the message, but yeah, and not only that, with the eclipses that have already happened, those were pulling you into more third house activity, which is your perspective on the world, right? Again, early education, stuff with siblings, that's all tied into third house stuff. But with the Seven of Swords, that's usually like liar, cheater, thief, secrets, not wanting to believe truths, talking ourselves out of things, or what is the word for it? Making it right in your head so that you don't have to deal with it, even though it very much needs to be dealt with. What do you call that? When you justify something, but there's a better word for it. Yeah, justification. So again, this isn't saying you're a liar, cheater, thief. I'm not saying that, but broadly, that's the terms of this card, and it's sitting again in that house of like your factual mind, your logic, your perception of the world around you. Where are you not wanting to see the truths that are like shining you in the face or hitting you in the face? And it may have to do with a dating partner or a child, or you can swap it, if you're the child, a parent. Sexual relationships, I don't know. That's something that you're being asked to look closer at. And you do have like Lilith sitting there too, so sort of in a lower vibration, whatever this is may spark or trigger a more vindictive, malicious side of you where you felt like you were wronged. So again, I'm not saying your feelings are not valid, they are, but how you choose to express those uncomfortable feelings can be done in a healthier way, or else this card wouldn't be showing up. Where are you running from truths or running from secrets? Where are you self-sabotaging? Or if you're just very like head in the clouds or, head in the sand, hell-bent on I'm doing it this way and only this way, where are you missing signals that maybe you are, I just want to say missing the clues, missing the signals. I don't think it's necessarily self-sabotage because you're really not seeing the broader picture. You're so in it like you can't see the forest from the trees. This is a card that frequently has consequences. It's like you're on your way to the Eight of Swords. So with that, again, you can become consciously aware of what this is and work on it. That would be my advice or guidance to you. But more or less, it's only going to get worse because then you're really going to pin yourself in a corner. You're going to get into, Seven of Swords. You're going to get into Eight of Swords territory, which is like mental imprisonment. I'm stuck here and I don't know how to get out, but my own thoughts have put me here. That's what's really important about the Eight of Swords. It's really never about, well, I shouldn't say never. Rarely is it about someone has put me in this position. More or less, it's I've come to put myself in this position and I've come to believe that I belong here even though I don't want to be here. It's changing your perception. It's changing your mind about certain things. Anyway. All right, Aries, that's what I got for you this week. I hope these messages weren't too heavy. I hope they helped you. That is my aim and my goal here today. Please remember to like the video, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave a positive comment if you feel so inclined, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.